All right, let's get into the papers this morning and see what headlines are jostling for your attention this morning as we get along. All right, we'll be expecting Dotun to join us, but let's kick start right away.
All right, let's begin with a point. Let's find out what point they're making this morning. Political forces using criminals to frustrate Buhari. Additional, that's the media spokesman of President Buhari speaking there. According to the ADC, in response, it's a lame excuse for failure. He should go back to Daura, SDP says, and mass defection looms still in APC as aggrieved aspirants shop for affordable platforms. Okay, this statement from...
the pun days.
People are like, look, when are we really going to stop this blame game?
The blame game is, when government comes or government officials or government aides come up with this, it is a hard sell for any Nigerian.
A complete hard sell.
Because the point there is, the government is the government. The government is the most powerful organization or agency, or however you want to call it, is the most powerful institution in any country.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about political forces, how strong are the forces?
Absolutely, and it gives a sense that, you don't seem to be in charge.
Exactly. It's possible you're just soaring and all of that.
Exactly.
So because if you can say, all right, political forces
are
responsible for this, are responsible for that, and
what
the
are you
government
doing
can't
to
do
stop
anything
them?
about it, no. Nobody's going to buy that.
No, we're not buying it. I'm sorry. A boy, bizarre wedding. 10 dead suitors scramble for deceased lady's hand in marriage.
Okay.
You know what?
So
I think we should just leave this one.
It's like taking marriage to the other side.
To the other side.
And then...
As far as we know, marriage only starts and ends here.
This at the other side,
we don't know
marriage. There's no marriage. There's no life at the other side. Anyway,
okay.
In that context.
Nigeria no longer needs varsity graduates, but competent artisans. And that's Professor Shunaya, the COA party
presidential candidate. But she's been making very cogent, strong statements lately.
Makes a lot of sense, really. I mean, when you think about the developed countries that we all aspire to be like, it's not graduates who build those economies.
Well,
it's
artisans. That a lot of our
people
polytechnics...
who use their skilled, who use their hands, their brains to do things, to just work it.
That is what the polytechnics were meant for.
Yeah.
But you see that many polytechnics are even advocating to be degree-awarding institutions now, and some are even transforming to becoming
And unfortunately, it looks like government was blackmailed to accept that. And
I wonder why they would even do that.
Really unfortunate. Elections may not hold in 2019, and that's according to Michael Zekome, senior advocate of Nigeria there. All right, I wonder what gives him that
That is the statement he has made, is just to send signals to all the stakeholders involved to put their hands on deck.
Papa gridlock, poor access to ports have reduced cargo import by 25%. That's ENL boss speaking there. And as far as the economy is concerned, first half of 2018, tough times as Tier 1 banks record 356 billion naira drop in shareholders' funds.
Shareholders' funds.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move to the Daily Trust now. Is our next paper to look at. Primaries. APC NEC allowed states to determine options. Well, we've talked about this issue before. There are some of the states saying we're going by direct primaries. Others are saying we'll go by indirect primaries. That is falling back to the status quo where, that's what they've been doing all over the years. Then a few states coming to say, well, we'll go by consensus. Let's just agree.
Whatever the party agrees.
And all of that.
Level.
All right, we'll see things as it gets along, because states are adopting different things. Different states adopting different strategies to conduct their primaries. All right, Abuja-bound train crushes 52 cows in Kaduna. That's a tragic one.
Really tragic.
Loss to the cow owner, and then on the other hand...
52 cows?
52 cows.
Especially when you consider the average cost of a cow.
Exactly, that's a lot.
Some go as high as 100,000, 150, 200. Multiply that by 52.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That can actually take a person out of business completely. All right, what else
57, Federal government secures 179 billion naira China loan for modular refineries. This is where Nigerians are going to ask questions, because licenses were issued out to a lot of businesses or Nigerians, if you call it,
For
and
private sector, you know,
to set up modular refineries. On up to a few years up until now, we've not seen any.
none has taken off. We've been expecting Dangote's refinery is not necessarily a modular refinery.
No, it's a
not.
major refinery.
It's a major refinery that's
it's not
expected
modular.
to produce some 600,000
But it seems
barrels,
it is the almighty refinery
it's the one we've
that
been waiting
the
for.
whole of the country is waiting for now. But they may liken this to the power sector where licenses were issued, you know, PHCN was unbundled, private sectors came in.
And we're still having issues.
And we're still having issues. So people started talking about the competence of
How much
this.
difference will this 179 billion naira make? I mean, it's not dollars, it's naira we're talking about here.
Yeah, but it's
How
about
many
it's
modular
about
refineries
$500
are we
million.
looking at?
But the point there is, if it is judiciously used, because modular refineries are not necessarily meant to be so complex.
There's a small, you know.
But if you scatter them here and there, they can take care of different enclaves where if we have, like Edo State, for instance, is coming up with, is working towards a modular refinery of its own. So if you have here and there, Edo State might decide to depend on the modular refineries
So
within it.
obviously, it's looking like we're going towards, gradually, moving towards a government-owned, you know,
Well, not necessarily,
government-run
because if you
sector
read the details of this,
Yeah.
the loans they're more of a guarantee
by government.
for
private sector.
sector.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Then why Nigeria can have state police now? The IGP is stating his reasons here. And then Atiku, mark latter day restructuring converts. APC is saying that. And the panel investigate banks over 7 billion naira bailout funds. Okay. That's the Daily Trust this morning.
All right, and moving on to the New Telegraph, quite a lot begging for attention here on the cover of New Telegraph. Governors move against senators. Amoso Korocha, Jimobi, Gaidam, Makura Ahmed, Yari, Shatima fight for senatorial seats. Yes, it looks like governors, once they're done with their term, the next thing to do is to go to the Senate. Whether they have...
Did you see the one? Did you see the billboard from Imo State? Oh, my people are begging. How did he even put it? I think my people are requesting.
Begging me.
Yeah.
And that's what
There's something.
many of them
there's
have
a way they
actually
put
been
it.
saying anyway, that there are people, you know, having
Oh no!
listened
So no,
to
I think please be our senator 2019. I think that's what they're begging the
All
governor.
right. You know what? In the meantime, Dr. Ojon has just joined us, and it is our pleasure to welcome him on the show this morning. Good morning.
That's all. Good morning.
People were begging me to come.
Yeah, and we're begged to come.
Exactly. He's just been begging, a festival of begging all over the place.
You know, I was privy to a discussion between a former governor and his pastor. And he said to him that money is no more coming in.
Who said to who now?
The former governor said to his
said
pastor,
to the pastor.
to the pastor that money is no longer coming in. Maybe I'll consider the senatorial ambition. You know, it's political money is almost a free money. And at every point in time, if you had tasted it, because it has a way of changing your level drastically within a twinkle of an eye. You have been sleeping in a 1,500 naira hotel before, and suddenly you become a governor. And now you're sleeping in 250, 500,000 naira accommodation in Abuja. And suddenly you're out of the office. So it's not, most of the time, it's not because experience will help the people. It's simply because of the fact that people want to always benefit from the process of governance.
Is it really, or is it that they feel they still have so much more to give, you know, in helping
Everyone
adding
has
more value
so much to give.
to governance, to our democracy, through, you know, helping
you
out,
may not know the
providing
logic.
the right kind of laws.
Yes, you may not know the logic behind having a 4-year course in the university and some 5, and in some cases maybe 6. It's philosophically that within 4 years, you should have been able to know virtually everything about a particular course of study. So if you're governor for 8 years and you're still thinking you have not delivered enough, even it's more annoying when you cross from the executive arm to the legislative arm, because we believe that through the executive power, you have the opportunity of creating better life for the people, more than a person who is in the legislature.
And now it's teaching, as you know, governors governors that are about to leave, with senators who
who want to recontest.
Yes,
that's
that's why the problem of direct and indirect primary has been so loud, because in some cases some of the governors believe that indirect primary will help them, while some senators think, in my state, in Ondo State, that has been the fight, because a senator from the Northern Senatorial District thinks that direct primary is better, is going to have an upper hand, but
all
the
right,
governor
Dotun,
thinks
you know what?
that indirect is better.
McCain, the late McCain, after running for president, could still go back to the Senate. I mean, why not? Why not? Why not our own governors? Anyway, let's leave that. Fowler, FIRS go after billionaire tax defaulters. About 6,772 billionaires have been evading and avoiding tax in Nigeria. What a grave offense. And they've been getting away with it, like getting away with murder.
That is the lifestyle of the Nigerian people, really. And we make the poor to pay for the comfort of the rich. And at every point in time, that is not going to benefit us in any way. If you're running after somebody under the bridge in Oshodi and my 12 and the billionaires, and even it happens in the bank, the banks will encourage you to put your money in the bank. You contribute your 1,000, you put in there, and a rich man will come from nowhere, get the money, and will never get to pay back.
And takes a loan.
And takes a loan and will never get to pay back. At the end of the day, government will help him service it.
There
it's quite
you go.
unfortunate.
There you go.
It's really sad.
And 2019, I'm not against e-voting card readers. That's President Buhari saying there. He said, look, card readers, the issue of card readers is a done deal already. Let's just put that aside. Okay, Senator Dariye buys APC nomination form from prison. Okay. That takes the cake.
Over the weekend, we saw a picture of the nomination form, and it was, in fact, it's been going viral.
Yeah.
And people have been asking, how possible is that?
A person who is serving a 14-year
jail term.
14-year jail term. He even has a legislative aid.
Of course. His seat has not been declared vacant, and that's why we've not had the by-election in two. If things are to be done the way it should be done, because what people may likely say is there was a man in Southwest Omishore, if you remember, he actually won election in prison. But there's a difference between what played out at that point in time. Omishore was never convicted. He was actually in prison at that point in time because there was investigation going on, and the case was ongoing, and he won election. But this man has been convicted. So we are going to leave our laws to take care of that.
All right, and NEMA to shut airports over 4 billion naira debt, airlines to divert flights. Okay, that's all from the New Telegraph, except, of course, for this 2019. Atiku consults Southern Middle Belt leaders, lists restructuring, unity, economy, and security as priorities. Okay,
restructuring seemed to be one promise that if you wield it, you might get some, eyes popping.
Let's see how far it takes you.
Let's see how far it goes, or how genuine the people who are calling for it are about it. All right, let's move to the Nation newspaper now. 2019, APC, PDP fight over fake presidential aspirants. Now, they're accusing each other of planting presidential aspirants in the other party. I wonder...
You see, there's always room for accusations here and there in politics, and it's not peculiar to us as a people. But again, come to think about it, who are these aspirants? These are the names that we have always known since we were born. They are not totally new people. They've been why both parties are suspicious is that many of these aspirants have tested both the waters of PDP and that of APC.
Exactly.
So if you are making a comeback, for example, then I have every reason to be suspecting you that maybe after all you have come to actually spy on us. So it's because of lack of ideological stand on the part of many of the politicians. That's why these things are coming up. If I believe in certain ideology and your party is not offering that ideology, I am going to move to another party.
Really, how many Nigerians can look at any politician on both sides or any of the parties and be able to say, this is what this person actually stands for? And be able to line up behind them.
It has been difficult because either we like it or not.
You could only have stated that in the First and Second Republic.
That this is what this person... More so now it's becoming more difficult because at the end of the day, what defines our political move is the next election. once I look at it and believes that this is going to actually move to the other side, then it doesn't matter what ideological stand the other party has, I'm going to switch to the other party. It's quite unfortunate.
Restructuring, Atiku, Mark under fire. Well, APC is not taking it lightly with them because of the issue of restructuring. NSC to sanction 7 banks, 21 firms. Failure to file reports cited. Okay. And we have this interesting one. Haruna Quadri wins first ITTF African title. This is a good one.
That's a great one. You know, it started from this Lagos, was it Lagos Open the other time, and everybody applauded it. And now we're having a Nigerian at that global stage.
Yeah.
Now we should begin to think as a people of how to replicate more of Quadri, not just believing that, oh, one man is enough for us. We need, there are many people. I play a lot of table tennis.
Yeah, exactly. Table tennis is good.
It is good, actually.
Okay, $2.1 billion arms deal. EFCC quizzes ex-DIG over 250 million naira payment. It's still money flying in the air.
The same 2.5
$2 billion. Yeah.
All right, to the Daily Sun now. Buhari APC sponsoring some PDP presidential aspirants. That's Yesom Wike, the governor of Rivers State, raising the alarm there. Your party imploding. We've chased out moles. As a ruling party responding. APC malls restructuring. Okay, they're still thinking about it. All right. Says FG to implement El-Rufai panel report. And ruling party playing politics with it, says PDP.
One thing I like election for is that you may actually say election is 20 years, but like my father will always say, 20,000 Christmas will one day become tomorrow. So one thing I like election for is that election always has a way of forcing our politicians to be responsive and responsible. Now, in the last few days, I'm very, very happy because if not for the recent Boko Haram issue, you discover that there have been peace here and there, even within the Middle Belt. It's simply because of the fact that somebody woke up and felt that we needed to stop this thing.
Otherwise,
if not, election is coming, these people are going to sweep us away. So now we're talking about restructuring because election is coming. Unfortunately, it's not even coming from one side. PDP is saying it, and APC is saying it. We must have the definition of the restructuring they are talking about and the one we really want and align them together.
You're right.
Okay. FG plots to peg state's cash withdrawal at 20 million naira monthly. All right. Biafra, IPOB alleges another invasion of Kanu's home. In 2019, Afenifere, Pandev Ohaneze, Middle Belt Forum to meet Buhari and others, and FRS to go after billionaire tax defaulters' bank accounts. All right. That's it from the Daily Sun.
All right, let's move to the Vanguard newspaper now. Restructuring. Article David Mark playing to the gallery. APC saying that there are multiple riders here, says they squandered their chances while in office. And we won't bandy words with APC. I've been on restructuring since 1995. Atiku is saying this. In my position, my people's wish. David Mark is saying that. APC shunned its promises. That's PDP. So it's a back and forth thing. I was coerced into endorsing Akinlade Ogun, APC chieftain. He's lying, APC. You know, back and forth. You know, we're in the season of back and forth now. You accuse me, I accuse you, we counter-accuse each other and all of that. All right.
That's politics playing out.
Yeah, it's very common. We've had it times and times again. On primaries, Oshombole Obaseki head for showdown as Edo leans towards consensus. Okay. And 3 PDP presidential aspirants pick Senate. Guba forms through proxies. We've heard this before, where some of the persons going for presidential, what is it called? They want to vie for the presidential office, are also picking the senatorial, especially those of them who are senators.
Yes.
Picking the forms for
yes,
Senate.
That's what I'm thinking, even in the case of some few senators now, and I have to be honest with you, that are planning to become the president of Nigeria. One of them is Senator David Mark. That if you look at your chances and you feel that this thing is not going to work in your favor, then option B is for you to go and pick senatorial. But if you ask me, in all honesty, if you ask me, that is the height of I'm being careful with word this morning. I'm not sure that is right. If you want to go for the president, if you're
all
sure
out for it.
that you actually want to achieve this thing and help Nigeria, then go all out for it. Call your people. Not that you are coming out to say, oh, you want to be president and you go from the back door. One of the youngest...
So it makes you wonder exactly why, what
what exactly do you want?
But on the other hand, I think INEC has the responsibility to say, okay, how can one person pick two nomination forms? And because these guys are very wealthy, that's why they are not, they can just pick any form. Now, my friend that wants to be president now, I think he decamped from one party to PDP and all that. I'm sure he will be calling everybody now to contribute money for him to get the form.
So he might just be a president's friend tomorrow. Wow.
And have a compliment card.
That is if
friend of the president.
That is if he has enough money to get the nomination form.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, the final one here, Abuja tremor, Nigeria not earthquake prone. The federal government is saying that.
Thank goodness for that. All right, this day is our last paper. This morning, fighting back criticisms, presidency urges National Assembly to reconsider Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Buhari remains APC's sole presidential aspirant, says no plan to Islamize Nigeria. Of course, we've heard that the National Assembly may not reconvene until October.
Early October.
Yes. Yeah. If you look at the politicking, this is the height of it all now. So I'm not sure that the National Assembly will convene, more so that either you are APC or PDP, you have one fight that you are fighting
especially
now as a member of the National Assembly.
Sword of
yes,
Damocles
either you are fighting with your governor or you are fighting with somebody. So it's a season of fight now that I doubt whether there will be time for deliberation. So even the Senate president has a fight, is fighting. Somebody somewhere in the National Assembly
but putting it straight, the primaries are there for all the contestants to really look up to. So it won't be feasible to have primary elections coming, and then you have the issue of plenary sessions you have to go and attend.
Yes, and you know the primary of Nigeria is a little bit, just a little bit different from the normal primary, because from the beginning you may be able to, if you are calculative enough, you may be able to know the result. That's why you have to be in the house. You can't be in Abuja and you be picking those who are going to be the delegates.
But you can determine that better if they go by the indirect primaries.
Depending on
if your state is deciding,
depending on your own homework.
Yes,
there are some people who have been able to plan delegates already. When they were choosing the delegate, they've spent all the money in this world, so they know they are familiar with the delegate. So if they call for indirect primary, to them,
they have no way.
And the delegates,
but the direct
those who
primaries
have benefited from being delegates over and over again, they're on the side of the governors who are saying we insist on indirect primary.
Because at
that
the
is
end
where
of the
they
day,
make all the money.
The delegate will also benefit on the day of the primary.
That is where they make all the money.
All right, 70 Hertie chairs for Barnabas Gemade, Senator Barnabas Gemade, of course, former national chairman of the PDP. Turns 70. We'll say congrats to him.
Senator from Benue.
Yes, APC backs Oshibajo, says Nigeria needs good governance and more than restructuring. Okay, so...
all right, Dotun, we thank you for coming on the program. Thank you very much. Thank you. Right. Coming up on the program.
84.27 million Nigerians have registered for their PVCs as a permanent voter cards ahead of the 2019 general election. In 2015, 67.4 million people registered, but only 29.4 million voted during the presidential election.
Now, will 2019 be different and stand as a testament that Nigerians are now more politically conscious? Find out when our guest joins us shortly after this break.